A crisp, cool evening in downtown Cleveland, Ohio as the Indians get back to work tonight, welcoming in the Seattle Mariners for a 3-game series here at Progressive Field. Seattle led by Nelson Cruz, who leads the club with 8 extra base hits. And for the Indians, Mike Napoli. He leads the team with 19 total bases. We'll see if those two big bats will make some noise in this series. Hi,
home, just 1-5 record, 1.8 runs per ball game. You're not going to win many games at all doing that, but on the road, a totally different team. Over 5.5 runs per ball game. They hit the long ball, and for whatever reason, I mean, the Indians did that last year. You can't figure it out. They're going to continue to try and win, but the Indians have to do their thing and try and win at home and win series.
Yesterday it was 75 degrees in Cleveland. Temperature much cooler, about 20 degrees cooler, maybe more than that once we approach game time here tonight. Wind appears to be blowing in, so runs could be at a premium. That might be good news for a guy like Carlos Carrasco.
Well, it is, and he came out last time he pitched against the Rays, and he was dominant. From the very first pitch of the game, which was 96 miles an hour, he just locked in, and he was tough to hit. And it should be a great night for him to pitch in Cleveland. Although Carrasco last year, much better pitcher on the road than he was at home, he's got to turn it around. He's going to be facing a left-hander, Wade Miley, who's a control pitcher, cutters in, change-ups away. Last season with the Red Sox, 11-11, and he's off to a slow start this year, but we'll see what the Indians offense can do against a left-handed pitcher again.
Yeah, Wade Miley will be making his first ever start here at Progressive Field tonight. And with more on that, we'll check in with Andre Knott when we come back right after this. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Carlos Carrasco making his way in as he gets ready for tonight's ball game between the Indians and the Seattle Mariners. Once again, the Indians will face a left-handed starter in Wade Miley, and we'll go down to Andre Knott with more on tonight's matchup. Miley, a Louisiana native, but more importantly for the Indians, he throws from the southpaw side.
Yeah, you know, it's unbelievable. Last year, you know, Terry Francona said he felt like teams manipulated their roster so they could get their lefties against the Indians. This year it's just happened. For Wade Miley, he's a lefty that's a tempo guy, meaning he gets on the mound and he throws a pitch no matter what the catcher puts down. So the Indians are going to try to take away the tempo, and the best way to do that is to get singles and gets hits early on. He's a lefty that likes to get that slider in on the inside on right-handed hitters. Guys, it looks like a lefty that the Indians should be able to hit. And after today, we have a lot of righties lined up over the next few days. This is the 29th stadium that Miley has ever pitched in. The only other stadium he hasn't pitched in the major leagues is Target Field in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's the luck of the draw. 7th game out of the first 11 for the Indians that they faced a left-handed pitcher. But like I said before, they used to put all left-handed hitters in against them for the most part. Well, now they've got their right-handers, so like a control guy, you're going to have to get your base knocks and hit him around. He's been hitting his first 2 starts.
Wade Miley began his career with the Red Sox, came over before last year in a trade with Seattle, so his second year with the Mariners, or actually his first year with the Mariners. So we'll see how the Indians fare against him tonight, but first it will be Carlos Carrasco who will go to the hill for the Indians. And let's take a look at the lineup that he will face tonight for the Seattle Mariners, and it will be Nori Aoki in the leadoff spot, followed by that guy Seth Smith, who's the DH tonight. Robinson Cano will bat third. Nelson Cruz hitting cleanup. Kyle Seager fifth. Adam Lynn batting sixth. Chris Iannetta will bat seventh. Leonis Martin hitting eighth, and the youngster Ketel Marte is batting ninth, and he's the shortstop, 22-year-old exciting young player.
And our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher tonight for the Indians, Carlos Carrasco, his 3rd start this year, 29-year-older, coming off a beautiful start against Tampa Bay where he went 8 innings, just 4 hits, allowed 1 run, struck out 8, walked 1. You know, he never gave up a run until 7 2/3 innings, but he came out of the chute firing bullets. 96 was his first pitch inside that dome. And we'll see how he fares. He's 1-0 in his career against the Seattle Mariners with a 1.42 ERA. This will be his 2nd start and a 3rd appearance against the Mariners. So see if Carlos can get this series started off on the right foot. Let's set the defense for the Indians, brought to you by Jeep. Bird is in left, Davis center, Cowgill right. Uribe is at 3rd, Lindor short, Kipnis at 2nd, Napoli at 1st, Gomes doing the catching.
Alan Porter will call the balls and strikes tonight. John Tumpane, Lance Barksdale, and Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, are on the bases. Nori Aoki will lead it off for Seattle as he steps in to start tonight's game against Carlos Carrasco. Aoki batting .245 on the year to this point. A couple of doubles, a triple. In on the grass at 3rd is Juan Uribe. And Aoki takes a fastball strike on the outside corner. Our game time temperature is 52 degrees, but a strong breeze blowing straight in tonight from the outfield. Aoki cuts and misses the count quickly, 0-2.
Well, he was geared for that 95 again, and Carrasco chose to throw a little 2-seamer going down and away, and you see why he was on that front foot way out in front.
Now the 0-2 offering is in the dirt, and Aoki takes for a ball. Aoki, a Japanese product. First year in the big leagues was 2012 with Milwaukee. Slaps that one toward 3rd, cut off by Uribe. And he makes a good, accurate throw for out number 1. Keys to the game are courtesy of Wayside Furniture. Carlos Carrasco will have to match up with the left-handed power bats of Seattle. And we'll see what the Indians can do in terms of adjustments as they face left-hander Wade Miley tonight.
Yeah, you look at that going back to the first one. Seattle left-handed, 7 left-handers in the lineup tonight.
Seth Smith off to a good start, hitting .318, a homer, 4 driven in, 1 double. And Carrasco with a fastball in there for strike 1. Seth Smith flourished with the Colorado Rockies. Last year's first year with Seattle. Hit a dozen home runs, drove in 42. Cuts and misses at a good low fastball. It's 0-2. Difficulties. Nobody heard me say that anyway.
I did, and you know what? I'll bear with you, my friend.
Now it's a full count. Three on the right side of the infield for the Indians, and Smith goes the other way towards center field. It will drop for a base hit.
Pretty good swing there, taking it the other way. Didn't try to pull it. You can see that ball, well, right on the outside edge or off the plate. He stayed on it, and you can see Davis coming in, takes it on the 1 hop. So a 1-out single for Smith.
And that will bring
on the outside edge or off the plate. He stayed on it, and you can see Davis coming in, takes it on the 1 hop. So a 1-out single for Smith.
And that will bring up Robinson Cano.
Guy that has very good numbers against Carlos Carrasco in his career. 556 hitter, 5 for 9. A couple doubles and a home run.
Dating back to last year, Robinson Cano is hit in 15 consecutive road games. And he takes a fastball for strike 1.
And he's always seemed to hit well in this ballpark, even when, you know, when he was with the Yankees. He always came in here and did his thing. They got another guy in the lineup that likes to hit here as well, Kyle Seager.
In the dirt. Cano along with Crush Davis, Josh Donaldson, and Big Mark Trumbo.
Well, Cano had, he had 4 of those home runs in that opening series against the Texas Rangers. That left-handers love to hit in that ballpark, and it was warm down in Texas. You still have to hit them.
It's outside. Now the 2-1. Down and in. Hard to believe this is Robinson Cano's 12th major league season. Debuted with the New York Yankees back in '05.
Well, he's approaching that 1,000 career RBIs. He's 7 short of that, so that's a heck of a number right there, I think.
Up and out of play to the left. Well, the other thing too about Cano, Rick, is that he shows up ready to play since 2007. Coming into this year, he played in 1,433 out of 1,458 possible games.
And he's going to have to continue that streak with the money that Seattle gave him as a free agent.
Runner goes. Pitch is down and in, and it's ball 4. So Carrasco, after the hit to Smith, walks Cano, and now Nelson Cruz coming up.
Yeah, right now 16 pitches for Carlos, 8 balls, 8 strikes.
The right fielder, number 23, Nelson Cruz.
Can understand him, you know, being careful with Cano, but the problem with that is you got this guy hitting behind him, and last year Cruz had a solid, and I mean solid, year for the Mariners, hitting 44 home runs, which was a career best 93 RBIs.
Yeah, like I told you, though, the numbers for Cano against Carrasco, he was going to be careful. If his slider is working tonight, you can get a ground ball double play off the bat of Cruz here. Just don't make a mistake.
And a low fastball catches the bottom of the strike zone.
This guy has been a good power hitter for a long time down with the Rangers. He had that 1 year with Baltimore that propelled him to sign that deal with Seattle, and he picked it right back up where he left off. There
Chases the slider.
That's what I'm talking about. He feels probably a little bit better facing this guy. Check it out with the Nissan pitch tracker. It's going to be a good slider down and away, and Carlos's slider is about as good as you can get. That's at 88 miles per hour. It started out as almost like a perfect pitch, but where it ended up, you couldn't hit it.
Swung on and missed. He got him to go fish. 2 down.
Yeah, good sequence right there by Carrasco. So he gets his second out, but now you got the a big out to get. Let's check out the sequence here. To Cruz, starts him out with a good low fastball at the knee, strike 1. I'll tell you, those are 3 pitches coming in here that were 2 of them were out of the zone. Those 2 breakables he couldn't hit. He started him out with a good low fastball and made quick work out of Cruz.
Now Kyle Seager to go. Seager has good power. He's at 20 or more homers in 4 straight seasons.
And he's a .413 hitter in this ballpark in his 16 games here. 3 homers and 9 ribbies. I remember his first year in his first series here in this ballpark, and what a series he had. Very dominant, and you know, I'm sure every time he sees an Indians uniform now he lights up because he had success early in his career against them.
I can do this. I can do this. Low, 2-1. He's been an Iron Man too. Last 3 years he's played 160, 159, 161 games.
That's a workload right there. I mean, you're actually playing every day.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's an Iron Man nowadays.
Smash towards second base. Kipnis with the flip to Lindor, and the inning is over. Santana gets out of a mini jam. The Indians are coming to bat. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Indians tonight. For Terry Francona, it's brought to you by Progressive. Rajay Davis leading it off. Jason Kipnis will bat second, hitting .297 to start the year. Francisco Lindor will hit third. Mike Napoli, Carlos Santana, and Yan Gomes in the middle. Then it's Marlon Byrd, Juan Uribe, and Colin Cowgill.
Tonight's Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher. It's going to be Wade Miley for the Seattle Mariners. He's 0-1 in his first 2 starts this year, coming off a loss to the Rangers.
Davis gets a breaking ball, bangs it to short, and Ketel Marte throws on the money, 1 away.
Let's set the Mariners defense for you behind Miley. They're rated 12th in the league. They made 8 errors. It's Aoki in left, Martin in center, Cruz over and right, Seager at third, Marte at short, Cano at second, Lind is at first, Iannetta doing the catching. Miley, we told you in the pregame, he likes to work quickly. Grabs the ball, gets into a quick rhythm, moves the ball in and out. Hasn't walked a batter yet this year, the only starting pitcher to do that. No walks in his first 12 innings.
Jason Kipnis with a homer, 5 driven in, 4 doubles. 4 doubles tops on the club. Wade Miley makes his home in Loringer, Louisiana. Pulls that foul. So from Loringer, Louisiana to Seattle, that's
big difference.
That's quite a difference.
You think so?
And quite a distance as well.
Well, everything's a great distance from Seattle.
Back up the middle. Kipnis trying to find center field, can't do it, and a nice play made to retire him. That's the shortstop, Ketel Marte, on the second base side of the bag. And he went up the gut, and from the outfield grass, the throw apparently in time to get Kipnis.
I think so. Watch, it gets there. It bounces a couple times, but he got rid of it quickly. Oh, no. Okay, they'll overturn that. He's going to have him look at it. I didn't see that angle. I think he was safe. Kipnis looked back, too. He certainly felt he was. There's the foot on the base. Oh, yeah. Not even close.
Yep.
They'll overturn that. That'll be a base hit for Kipnis. No question. You know, he felt it just by the look of Jason after he passed first base. He felt he beat it. The umpire calls him out sitting from behind the plate. He's thinking, wait a minute. But I don't think this will take long, because we just that look from center field was definitive.
Well, and again, there's where, you know, the hustle down the line, able to beat it out.
Well, you know, they had 3 guys over on the right side of the infield for Kipnis on that at bat. You don't see that a lot. At least I don't see it. He was swinging a bat to left field very good in a series, but.
Well, he's been a guy that's used the whole field so much.
And he hustles down the line almost every time.
But that ball, 2 things. One, it took a long time for that ball to get up the middle, and it took a long time for the throw to get to first base.
He got rid of it quickly, but he didn't get it. He couldn't get anything on it because he realized he had to get rid of it in a hurry. So by the second bounce, Kipnis had time to beat it out.
Yeah, I don't know why this is even taking so long.
Well,
there are plenty of replay angles available that show the ball clearly.
It took us what? It took us 2 angles. Safe. Thanks.
Crew Chief Jeff Kellogg gave the signal that he is safe.
There's the look again from center field. He comes down. The foot is definitely on the bag by the time that ball gets into the glove of Lind at first base. So a base hit for Kipnis, 1-out single. Same thing the Mariners did in their top half of the first inning at the 1-out hit.
That will bring up Francisco Lindor.
First pitch, a little cutter in. That's the pitch he's going to try and make effective to the right-handed hitters today. But he's going to have to throw it for a strike.
He lines that one into left center field, a base hit. Kipnis hit second. He'll have to hold right there. Martin was right on the ball in center field. And back-to-back singles here in the first for Cleveland.
Well, Lindor put a nice swing on a changeup right there. It was middle of the plate and it was down. And he kept his hands back nicely, strokes it into left center field. So back-to-back singles have the Indians in business here in the bottom half of the first inning. It'll give Mike Napoli an opportunity. Both these teams at one point have been having a problem with runners in scoring position. That was the problem for Seattle, certainly when they're at home. The Indians had a streak there where they were struggling, then picked it up against the Mets for a game or 2.
Mike Napoli takes strike 1. Swings at the breaking ball and bounces it to third. They get the force and they turn the double play to end the inning.
Lind saved him.
Boy, nice play by Seager to stay with it at third, and then Lind bails him out on the other end, and the inning is over.
Indians baseball is live with the MLB.com at-bat app. You can stay connected all season with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Leading off for Seattle will be Adam Lynn. And Carrasco gets a fastball in there for strike one. Carrasco a perfect 6 out of 6 on first pitch strikes so far tonight. And Lynn hits it hard. Lindor made a terrific diving stop when he's able to get up and throw him out one away. That's a nice play by Francisco Lindor. You're just not used to seeing him on the other side of the infield.
Yeah, watch that glove go down. He smothers it. You know, and he kicked it back, and it stayed right there, and he had plenty of time to just pick it up and put it away. Yeah, we're seeing this more and more, especially with left-handed hitters switching. Balls on the ground over to the right side of the infield. There's 2 or 3, it seems like, every game, the left-handers that most every team shifts for.
Kipnis probably telling Lindor, hey, stop that. You're making me look bad over here. Come over to my side of the infield, make plays like that. Chris Iannetta takes, and it's in there for a strike. We're starting to see, Rick, little bit by little bit, we're starting to see some second basemen go on the shortstop side of the bag for right-handed full hitters.
Much more than we ever used to.
There's a liner toward left center. That's going to be caught. Marlon Byrd, nice job to run it down, 2 away. Boy, Iannetta hit that one right on the screws.
He sure did, but right into the tracks of Byrd in left field.
Leonis Martin steps in now, batting 8th. Our Levin Furniture player profile. Martin left Cuba during the World Junior Baseball Championship in Taiwan. Bunts it off the plate, and it will go foul. So many of the Cuban native stories as far as how they got to the United States they all have the similar thread in that they fled at some point, and the rest of the details are a little bit sketchy, but a lot of them are sometimes harrowing. None of them are simple. None of them are as simple as, hey, I'm leaving, and I'll let you know when I get there. Martin, who originally signed with Texas, came to the Mariners along with Anthony Bass in exchange for big right-hander Tom Wilhelmsen. This past offseason,
Wilhelmsen has given it up a couple times in Texas.
High pop left field. Marlon Byrd barely has to move this time and makes the catch. On 7 pitches, Carlos Carrasco cruises through the second inning with a little help from Francisco Lindor. We go to the bottom of the second inning. For the Indians, Carlos Santana, Yan Gomes, Marlon Byrd due up. Santana takes a fastball for a strike.
There's your 3 men on the left-hand side of the infield.
Yeah.
For a pull hitter. And he either way, left-handed or right-handed, he's trying to hook everything.
And he pops it up to straightaway center field. Martin playing very shallow.
Yes, he is.
Makes the catch 1-1.
You know what I like about that, with the wind blowing in and can knock it down. You can cheat in 2, 3, 4 steps if you'd like. And this isn't his home ballpark, but I sort of like that.
Arcia in the driver's seat shows you that Yan Gomes has had great numbers against Seattle in his career with a .295 average, 17 games, 6 homers, and a dozen driven in.
Well, you can see Miley. He grabs the ball, throws strikes, and he's waiting on the rubber for that hitter to get set and ready to go again.
Miley quickly ahead of him, 0-2. And a line drive base hit in the right field for Yan Gomes. So his success against Seattle continues even in the hole. 0-2. He takes it inside out. 3 years ago, Rick, part of Gomes' history of success against Seattle. How about a walk-off?
Oh, those are always fun. Yeah, remember that one.
That might have been against Wilhelmsen, huh? I don't remember exactly. I just remember the one game. Wasn't it Wilhelmsen that dropped the ball at first base and kept the game alive on a little flip play?
Flip play, game would have been over. It kept it alive, and the Indians came back, and they swept that 4-game series against Seattle.
So Gomes aboard with 1 out for Marlon Byrd.
Do you think Jan's going to steal? Left-hander keeping him close. Yeah.
So that was that same game, Rick. Wilhelmsen dropped the ball
to keep the game going.
Blew the save, but the home run was off Charlie Furbush.
Oh, the
Gomes
left
hit
hand.
to win it.
Okay.
Yeah, extra innings.
Gotcha.
Byrd cuts and misses at a good off-speed pitch. That thing just disappeared.
Changeup. Coming in at about 79 miles per hour, but there's the excellent location. He goes down and away. That's why he throws the cutters into the right-handers to, you know, get him looking inside part of the plate, and it opens up the outside part where he can get ground balls. But when you put a swing on it like that,
Gomes hits second. He'll stop right there. Great arm by Leonis Martin in center field. So back-to-back singles for the second inning in a row.
that was a good swing. That was a really good swing where he stayed on it. You see, he elevated that pitch, and that made it much easier for Marlon Byrd to just take it the other way. So a really good swing there. Second straight inning, back-to-back singles. Both those singles coming on 0-2 pitches. So Miley trying to, he's not messing around trying to waste any pitches. He's going right at him. So back-to-back 0-2 hits.
Now Juan Uribe up high, ball one.
Uribe off to a slow start, but swinging the bat much better. He's 4 for his last 9 on the homestand. Bangs this one in the hole. Another base hit. This will load him up as Gomes stops at third. So 3 straight singles, and suddenly Juan Uribe now 5 hits in his last 10 at bats.
There you go. He found the hole between short and third. Nothing Gomes could do. It's a soft curveball that he just beats into the ground. A lot of times, you know, you feel you made your pitch there, but it found a hole. He was hoping that he would have been turning it over a little bit more and finding Seager at third to turn a double play. It doesn't happen. The Indians in business. Bases loaded. 1 out.
Colin Cowgill steps in with the bases loaded and 1 out. And it's down low, ball 1. Cowgill 1 for 10 on the year. Pitches in there for a strike. I'll make that 1 for 9. Got some disputing numbers here. One says 1 for 9, the other says 1 for 10. Whatever the case, he's got 1 hit.
Whatever the case, it'd be a nice time to pick it up and get a base hit here and give your team the lead. Sacrifice fly anyway to get Gomes in from third. Now Miley wants to talk to Iannetta. They get on the same page. But you can see the approach right-handers. You stay on the baseball. Gomes had an 0-2 pitch go the other way. Bird slapped one up the middle the other way. That's a really good approach against a guy like Wade Miley, where you don't get out in front. You roll over on a bunch of ground balls.
Well, he's done well in these situations in his career. Two-one pitch. And Miley taking a little something off to even it up at 2-2. Fouled on the left side, out in front of it. Gave it a pretty good jolt.
Ooh, messed around on the inside part of that plate, and I don't think he wanted it. It looked like a changeup to me where he threw it.
Cowgill bangs it to third. Seager goes to second for 1. Cano on to first. An inning-ending double play. Second inning in a row. The Indians have something going, but they hit into a twin killer and were scoreless after 2.
Batting ninth, the shortstop number 4, Ketel Marte.
While Major League Baseball's global reach seems to be greater than ever, for now, Cuba remains one country that remains outside that reach. Watch the special documentary, Cuba, Baseball's Final Frontier, Sunday at noon, right here on Sports Time Ohio. Ketel Marte leading off the bottom or the top half of the third for Seattle, takes down in ball 1. Marte, just 22 years old, made his debut with Seattle last year, and it was a very solid debut. In the 57 games that he played, he hit .283, 14 doubles, and he also was able to score 25 runs in those 57 games. Takes a strike. It's 2-1. Maybe it's the way he stands upright in the batter's box, but he looks a lot bigger than the 6'1" he's listed at.
You remember Brad Miller, who we saw down in Tampa, they traded him from Seattle. So I'm sure this is the big reason why. .351 on base percentage last year, 4th best by a rookie in Mariners history. Only one's better. Alvin Davis at the head of the class in 1984, 391. Yeah.
Ichiro in 01 had a 381 on base percentage, and Phil Bradley in 1984 had a 373 on base percentage. Missed outside, and a full count. Ichiro, much like some of the Cuban players that we were just talking about a moment ago that come to play in the United States, they're not your typical rookies, and that they've played a lot of baseball.
Yeah, no doubt.
Slapped the other way. This might be trouble down the line, and just foul into the corner. Bird gave chase, and Marte will have to come back to home plate and try again.
Well, that thing had a lot of tail to it, as it almost slaps it that way, but it tails foul. Good look at that, and that's why Bird is playing shallow and left. It's not like he can drive the ball to left field. You got Davis in center, that's shallow.
Wow, he walked him. Second walk issued by Carrasco, and normally this is not something that he does very often. He only had walked 2 in his first 2 starts.
Now stepping to the plate for the
Our stat of the game brought to you by Buick. Here's 4 Cuban-born players who played for the Indians. Danny Baez, of course, most recently. The immortal Joe Askew.
Yeah, Joe, big Joe now lives in Kansas City. And of course, we know El Tiante and Benny Minoso.
Top of the order, Nori Aoki, but first to throw to first, driving Marte back.
Yeah, that's the one thing you don't want to do, is walk that 9th place hitter, because Aoki, a guy that, you know, can handle the bat. I'm not quite sure the speed of Marte yet. I know he has 1 stolen base and he hasn't been caught yet, but this would be a good duro to start the runner, where Aoki could slap the ball.
Last year he had 8 steals and was caught 4 times, which tells you he's got pretty good speed, but
you got to learn how to steal bases at the major league level. You know, because the pitchers here, as we mentioned so many times, do a great job of controlling the running game here compared to in the minor leagues. But they even do a nice job down there. 3 straight times, so you're getting that sign from the bench. So they feel something is going on.
Chop towards second, might be 2. Kipnis to second, 1. Lindor's return throw. Not in time. Aoki just did beat it out.
Well, there's the 2-hopper right there. See if Kipnis gets it over to Lindor. But by the time they turn it, Aoki beats it out. Only able to get the 1, but they get the lead runner.
Looked like that big hop forced Kipnis to have to kind of lay back on it. That sometimes is all it takes. The difference between turning it and beating it up.
Yeah, depending on the speed of the hitter. A left-handed hitter getting out of the batter's box that can get down the line okay.
Here's Seth Smith, a single his first time up and a good at bat. Lined toward left center field for that base hit. Up and away, ball 1. Well, it's 2-0 now to Smith. And he missed again. 3-0.
I would not be surprised to see Smith with a green light here. One of their better hitters going right now on the road. Look for the fastball. And gets it on the inside part.
He got what maybe he might have been looking for had he been in the swing mode. But
well,
like
that's true.
All the way. Now the 3-1. And it just missed outside. Ball 4. Second a walk in the inning. Third already in the game. Carrasco, it's not like he's throwing it all over the place. But he's just missing, and Seattle's being patient.
He's just missing, but you know what I'm noticing tonight early? A lot of 2-seam fastballs instead of the 4-seam. You know, he's throwing 96 in his last start, but it's going down and away, down and away. And you know, hitters aren't going to swing at your 2-seamer early until they get maybe behind in the count, and they'll chase it. They're looking for that 4-seamer, and if they don't get it early, they'll take it, and he's missed with it. Now you've got your work cut out.
And
there's the 4-seamer misses. Yeah, he's missing with that inside, and that 2-seamer's running away.
Concerned Mickey Callaway looking on with 2 aboard and 1 out. And now it's 2-0, and Lindor going to go in for a quick word to Carrasco.
That'll give me an opportunity now to send out a very special birthday wish to Helen Molnar, who is turning 99 today down in Youngstown. She's a big bingo player. Nate Genoso's grandmother. Helen, a very happy birthday to you.
Well, 10 out of 16 have been out of the zone in this inning for Carrasco. Shoots one the other way, but foul.
Well, he's going to have to make his pitch pretty much like Wade Miley did. Back-to-back innings, got double play balls. That's exactly what Carrasco's looking for. Give me a ground ball. We've got to turn it and get out of the inning. They had a chance with Aoki, but they just couldn't turn it. Wasn't quite hit hard enough.
Cano pops that one out of play. Well, Carrasco is hoping to take a page from Wade Miley's book and get that ground ball double play here. Now the 2-2. Hit to first. Napoli goes to second. There's one, the return throw. Carrasco is not there in time, and Cano
Did he step on his
out.
foot? He stepped on his foot, I think. He didn't get over there in time. But I think when Cano got to first base, check out the left foot of Carrasco.
Cano might have rolled his ankle when he stepped on him, too.
Let's look. Napoli gives a good feed down there, but you see, Carrasco is sort of like trying to find the base. He stepped on that left foot.
Well, that was close
right
play
on his
too.
toe. It was close, but he was a little late getting there. Oh, he stepped on Cano's foot.
Yeah. And Carrasco's
okay.
ankle kind of turned out a little bit.
He tried to get over there, but you got to search for the baseball, and that's a difficult play for a pitcher. You're running and you're not looking for the base. You got to find the base, and the throw's coming from the shortstop. Tough to do, but his left ankle stepped on the top of Cano's foot. Boy, bang bang play, but the inning is going to continue. Looks like he's going to be okay. That could have been a lot worse. Watch at the end. He ends up stepping on Cano's foot that just gets to the bag before he does. That's a real tough play for a pitcher when you're not looking at the bag and you got to try and pick up the ball from your shortstop on the move.
And if you look at these spikes, especially the ones that Cano is wearing, it's not like there's a lot of leather protection on the top. It looks like it's more of a
cloth.
Yeah, the material, and it almost looks like the left shoe. He might have a spike mark where Carrasco
very
came
well
down
could
on him.
have.
So there are two down, with Mariners at first and third, and Nelson Cruz the batter. And he swings and fouls it off.
Well, Cruz not messing around this at bat. Carrasco took 3 pitches to retire him the first time he faced him back in the first inning. It was a fastball and a couple of sliders, so he jumped on that first pitch from Carrasco. And he came back with a first pitch slider, and he was, I'm not taking it. So once again, 5 pitches to Cruz tonight, all 5. 4 swings and 1 called fastball. There's a 2-seamer in. Goes off the glove of Gomes.
Oh-2 offering. Pulls it foul.
Well, he got him to chase it. He just happened to get a piece of it. I would not throw him a strike right yet. Don't think you have to. You've already proven to him you can. You've got him swinging. Expand it, go off the plate by 4 or 5 inches.
Again, the 0-2. Swung out and missed. He chased one in the dirt. Gomes with a lob toss to first. That will end the inning. Second strikeout of the night for Carrasco. He gets out of some trouble here in inning number 3. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. A moment to kind of take a deep breath in the dugout for Mickey Callaway and Carlos Carrasco. He's had some trouble, but so has Wade Miley, but both pitchers have been able to navigate their way through so far. Bottom of the third, and Rajai Davis takes a strike.
Yeah, for Carrasco now going out after 3, it's the pitch count. You know, when you start walking them and you go deep into counts. Miley, now that's just his 29th pitch.
He's given up 5 hits already.
I know, but you see, he doesn't walk anybody, so he's going to give up more hits. Coming into the day, he's given up 17 hits into 12 innings before this game started, so it's 22 hits in 14 innings.
Rajai Davis grounded out to short, his first time up. Drives this one foul down the left side. Wade Miley was originally drafted by Tampa Bay in the 20th round right out of high school. But he said no thank you and went to Louisiana Monroe on a baseball scholarship. Right at the shortstop. Marte backed up. And a close play. It's safe at first.
Well, at shortstop, you don't have a lot of time to boot a ball and then get a base runner. And Davis is no ordinary base runner. I mean, he jumped right on that ball. He turned sideways because it was hit hard. And you can see he dropped it, picked it right up, and fires a seed. But Davis beats it out. It's going to go as a base hit. That's kind. Base hit for Davis. Hit number 6.
So an infield single starts the inning, and Jason Kipnis to the plate. Kipnis hit a ground ball up the middle his first time up. Originally called out at first base, but on replay review, the call was overturned. Kipnis was awarded a base hit. He'll step on second, an easy double play.
The 3rd straight double play in an inning for Seattle. Wow. He got a 5-3 double play, steps on 3rd, throws to 1st, and a nice pick by Adam Lind. And you're going to get a 5-4-3 to end the 2nd, and now a 6-3. Steps on the bag, goes to 1st. Holy smokes, that's the way you pitch out of it. And he's doing it on very few pitches.
Big curveball, and it drops in for a strike to Francisco Lindor. Lindor singled his first time up. And just foul. I mean, by the smallest of margins. It was right on the chalk, and just in front of the bag it went foul.
Kicked off the grass. The cut of the grass and the dirt is what pushed it foul right there.
Our great clip of the game from Sunday, Francisco Lindor. One of the few highlights for the Indians. They didn't have many. Now he's trying the right field line. This is going to get down. This is going to be into the corner. Lindor will pull into second base easily with a 2-out double.
Well, his 3rd double of the year. The 3rd straight inning the Indians have had at least 2 hits in an inning. He shoots this curveball the other way. Very nice approach. Down into the corner off the right field wall. Cruises into second base. The first extra base hit for the Indians out of their 7.
And Mike Napoli to the plate. Napoli hit into a double play that short-circuited a rally in the 1st inning. And like his first time up, he takes a fastball for strike 1. To center field, well hit. Back is Martin. It's over his head. And one hops the wall. Lindor scores, and the Indians take a 1-0 lead with their third hit in the inning. And Mike Napoli with his 7th RBI on the year, his 4th double.
Yeah, do it with 2 outs. Our yellow would bring in the lumber. There's a breaking ball out over the plate, and he gave Mike a little swinging room, and he drilled it straight away center field. Martin, as we mentioned earlier in the game, was playing shallow. Well, this one was hit over his head, and you know what? The wind didn't have any time to do anything to that ball. That was a line drive over his head, so the Indians get on the board, make it a 1-0 lead. Napoli's 7th ribby.
Well, now Carlos Santana, who popped up to center field his first time up, and he takes ball 1. Back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We send out another birthday wish to Edna Mae Harvey of Cuyahoga Falls, turning 91 today. Happy birthday, Edna.
Down in the dirt to Santana. Also want to send out happy birthday wishes to Marvin Fraze, who's celebrating his 90th birthday here tonight. Not here at the ballpark, but he is celebrating, watching at home. So happy birthday, Marvin. At second base, and a 3-1 pitch to Santana is called a strike, but Santana, you can tell by the look he gave to Alan Porter, he was not in agreement.
He felt that ball might have been up and away.
Checks Napoli, payoff pitch. Santana blasts it to deep right field. Cruz makes the running catch on the front edge of the warning track to end the inning. But the Indians overcome their 3rd double play of the game already to take a 1-0 lead on the RBI double by Napoli. 1-0 Seattle. I mean 1-0 Cleveland as we go to the fourth, where Seattle comes to bat. Seager, Lynn, Iannetta due for the Mariners. By the way, that run for the Indians in the bottom of the third, the first run for the Indians in the third inning this year. And it came at just the right time as they finally get on the board. Seager lines one just by a diving Juan Uribe. Boy, from my angle here in the press box, that was very close to going into the glove of Uribe.
He hit it too hard.
Just by him.
I know it. He did not have time to react. It was almost like, I don't even think he had time to take a step, to be honest with you, because he hit it hard and it was just like, let me try and fall that way and catch it, but it was by him by the time he could get there. So a leadoff single for Seager.
That's only the second hit for the Mariners. And Adam Lynn robbed of a hit his first time up by Francisco Lindor. And he takes a two-seamer for a strike. That's been the pitch of the night for Carrasco. Hit in the air to center field, but Davis barely has to move at all. One away.
Well, 2016 season tickets are still available. They include 8 different plans, and when you buy a prorated 20-game plan, you'll get up to 12 games for free. You just visit Indians.com season tickets for more details.
Catcher Chris Iannetta flied to left in the second inning.
Iannetta, a guy they got from the Angels. He always seemed to do something against us when he played against the Indians. Iannetta, good fastball hitter inside, likes to turn on it. Likes to try and pull everything.
Fouls that one right back. Iannetta just turned 33 years old. Not sure if that's why he's wearing the number 33, but hey, if it works, go for it.
Breaking ball.
High pop to left, and Bird on the move will make the catch. 2 down. April in the OH continues tomorrow night here at the ballpark against Seattle. Indians live with Alan Jensen kicking off at 5:30, and the first pitch at 6 right here on Sports Time Ohio. April in Ohio, presented by Meyer. Leonis Martin fly to left in the second. Pitch is outside. Back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. stifles that foul. I think the hardest aspect to try and understand for a Cuban baseball player is that you have these hopes and dreams and aspirations. They have the same, that a lot of us grew up with, trying to get to the major leagues, play professional baseball, whatever the case may be. But for them, their only shot is literally to leave everything behind.
Yeah, that's true.
And in many of their cases,
and you're on your own.
You don't get to see them again.
Well, you would expect not to if you have to leave there.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember Joe Askew telling us a story when he defected and came over to the United States when, he started to play with the Indians. It was, yeah, your parents, here's a little bag. There's some money in there. Don't tell anybody, and good luck.
Good luck, yeah. 1-2 pitch, down and in.
Yeah, you're on your own. You better make it. You're battling by yourself, learning in a new country, new people. Even though the one thing you do know is baseball. So you better make adjustments quickly.
And because the defection process is so muddled, a lot of these players are really taken advantage of. Carrasco gives up a leadoff single and then goes 1-2-3, striking out Martin. Indians lead it 1-0.
Kids tickets start at just $10 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. Kids tickets located in the family deck out of Progressive Field and are available only at Indians.com.
The Indians have a 1-0 lead, bottom of the fourth. Yan Gomes, Marlon Byrd, Juan Uribe coming up for the Tribe. Gomes singled in the second inning as the Indians would load the bases against Wade Miley, but he got a double play ball to get out of it.
Gomes got on with an 0-2 base hit as well. Miley was out there just throwing strikes, and he's continuing. 35 of his 46 pitches have been strikes.
And 2 quick strikes here for Miley, who grew up in Loringer, Louisiana. And again, apologies to the folks in that town if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. 0-2. Wow, he made quick work of Yan Gomes, didn't he?
He expanded the strike zone that time. He didn't throw him as good as a pitch as he did the first time up.
Gets his first strikeout.
Right.
Injury report brought to you by the injury attorneys at Elk and Elk. Charlie Furbush with a shoulder injury on the 15-day DL. Also pitchers Evan Scribner and Ryan Cook. Well, up comes Marlon Byrd. Wade Miley's hometown has about 5,000 people. He says, quote, there's a whole lot of nothing. Got a grocery store, a gas station, and a school, and that's about it. No stoplights. We do have a caution light, but that's it.
5,000 people and no stoplights, huh? Just one caution.
They don't even have a subway yet, he said, like a sandwich store.
Oh, I thought you meant underground.
No. They do. Those are called sewers.
I don't know if they have them.
They might not.
No,
You're
they
right.
don't. I don't think so.
Getting too close to the bayou country down there.
Got gators.
He said the folks there make about a 12-mile jaunt to Hammond, Louisiana, to get to the nearest chain restaurant or supermarket. Swung out and missed, 2-2.
What's that, McDonald's?
Yep. McDonald's, Walmart, places like that.
That's right up Murph's alley.
Fouls that one off. After he turned down the Tampa Bay offer of being a 20th round pick, went to Louisiana Monroe, and he ended up being a #1 compensation pick of the Diamondbacks in 08. So obviously
certainly enhanced his.
Line drive single to left for Marlon Byrd, and he's 2 for 2.
Well, the Indians, that's their 9th hit. Byrd, his 2nd. He gets the change up again. It's down and away, and he pulls that to left field. So Indians with their hitting shoes on, but they've only been able to push one across.
Up comes Juan Uribe. He had a base hit to left his first time up. And it's up high, ball 1.
So far tonight, the Indians have 5 two-strike hits. And that's where they have been struggling. With 2 strikes, a 156 batting average, and against the Mets, they were 185. But tonight, been able to do some damage with 2 strikes.
Low and away. Miley wanted that, but that would have been a perfect pitch. Good block by Iannetta.
Well, on the year, Miley averages giving up just under 13 hits, 12.8 hits per 9 innings. Well, we're here in the 4th, and the Indians have 9, so still hasn't walked anybody.
Right back over the screen. Quick throw. Back is Byrd. And again, Uribe right on him. But sends it straight back into the netting, and a full count. Alan Calgill waits on deck. Byrd at first with 1 gone. And the 3-2 pitch is low, ball 4.
That's his first walk of the year. 15 1/3 innings. His longest in his career has been 16 innings. But of all people, you wouldn't guess Uribe would be your first walk of the year, would you?
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it.
If you
I
could
could see like a Santana, a Napoli, or somebody like that, but not Uribe.
the odds would have been long against it.
But he's been on twice, so the bottom part of the lineup doing it now. Kyle Gill, another opportunity. He came up his first time up, had bases loaded, and grounded into a double play. So an opportunity to add on to a 1-0 lead here.
The Tribe's distinguished veterans have each been on safe twice tonight. Bird and Uribe trying to jumpstart another rally here in the 4th. Cowgill taking 2-0. Low 3-0. '29-year-old Colin Cowgill. Taking all the way, and it's just above the letters for ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So Wade Miley hadn't walked a batter in his first 15+ innings this year, and he walks the 8 and 9 hitters respectively here in the 4th inning. And they're loaded up for Rajai Davis.
Mel Stottlemyre comes out to talk to him, the pitching coach for the Mariners this year. Trying to give him a little encouragement there. You're right. I mean, you go and not walk anybody. You walk the 8th and 9th hitters, and he's got a bases loaded situation now, and he has already had 3 double plays in the first 3 innings, and he could use 1 more if you're a Seattle Mariner. Indians looking to open it up here. They have had base runners galore.
By the way, that Mel Stottlemyre you referred to, the pitching coach, it's hard to believe he's 52 years old. I forget how old I am already. But you know, I think of his dad, Mel Stottlemyre Sr. was pitching coach. It seemed like forever.
Yeah,
for Joe Torre and the Yankees.
Yes, indeed.
All these guys that are coaches are now my age. Edgar Martinez, the hitting coach. Casey Candell, who played here for the Indians briefly, is the first base coach. Mike Hampton, the pitching coach. Rajai Davis, second time tonight the Indians have had him loaded with 1 out.
Yeah, you almost have to take now. Just he's thrown what, at least 7 straight balls. So you got to get him into the strike zone.
You kind of got to wonder what happened to him.
Yeah, you lose that zone. I don't know. I don't know, but force him to get into the zone again. Don't help him out.
Bullpen up for Seattle.
See,
Davis went fishing.
Well, there you go. You helped him out. There's one there as a hitter. You're starting to think, okay, he's thrown 7 straight. We know this guy's got great control, but you swing it a ball out of the zone, he could be sitting 3-0, and it would have been 8 straight. It's in his head. So you help him out. Now that may give him a little confidence right there.
He missed again. It's 3-1. I was surprised Ricky came with a 2-0 changeup.
That's probably.
But he was looking for something he could throw
bread
for his
and butter
strike,
pitch. You can't throw it right down the middle. He doesn't throw hard enough.
Mike Montgomery getting loose for Seattle, but he just started throwing. Big pitch right here. The 3-1 is hit foul on a play and a full count. Looked like he challenged him with a fastball, but it was just up enough that Davis couldn't quite square it. So Kipnis waiting on deck. Bird at third, Uribe at second, Cowgill down at first. And Davis almost took Bird with it.
Well, he changes up on him, and Rajai looking for something to hit, and he pulls it foul just out in front, way out in front. Got this 3-1 fastball, fouled it off, and he's out in front of the changeup. You re-rack it and do it again.
it's low, ball 4. The Indians' lead is now 2-0.
Boy, what a gift. What a gift.
3 straight walks in the inning for Miley, who hadn't walked a batter coming into tonight's game this year. It's a funny game.
It really is. I mean, when you think about it, and tonight Carrasco, you know, he's a guy that never walks a lot of people, and he has 3 walks as well. Not that they were consecutive, but you know, he walked 2 back in the 3rd inning, 1 in the 1st. But for Miley, he's a guy that he can't afford it, especially when you give up as many hits as he has.
15 of the last 23 pitches he's thrown have all been out of the strike zone.
Well, don't help him.
That one's in there.
Well, Kipnis is doing that. He's taking it. He's taking a strike, making him get into the zone. I like it.
Scott Service, first-year manager, on your right. 1-1 pitch. I always wonder in these types of situations, Rick. We're talking about a professional who's done this his whole life.
Yeah.
But does it get in his head? Does it become you know, I'm trying to aim it now?
Yeah, you try too much to throw strikes, and you don't want to throw a good strike. And yes, it absolutely gets into their head. Oh no. That's
a gift.
Yeah, I think it was. Down there, Jeff Kellogg, who's the chief, help him out. Take a side look.
Oh, terrible.
I don't think so.
Terrible ball.
I don't think so.
That wasn't even close to a check, or an offer, I should say. Clearly, he checked it in time. Well, a break for Miley. Can he take advantage of it with the bases loaded? Well, he does. He strikes out Kipnis, and he is hot with Jeff Kellogg, and understandably so. Boy, that could be a huge turning point here in this game.
He elevates the fastball right here, and boy, it's borderline. I think it might be a ball. If Kip takes it, it's up out of the zone. He goes after it. Well, that's frustrating when you don't think you swung at a pitch before, and then you get yourself out on the next pitch. Frustrating at bat for Kipnis. See if Lindor can pick him up. He has a pair of hits today.
Again, Uribe is at third base. Cowgill at second. Rajai Davis down at first. So good speed at first and second. Should Lindor find an alley here. Uribe can just trot home from third if Lindor gets a base hit. Down low, 2-0. He's got a patient approach here.
Well, that last time up, he's patient. He hit the curveball to right field. So right now, Miley's got to make an adjustment. He's thinking, boy, this guy's got the plate covered on me. Hit the ball hard in his first at bat. We're going to get this pitch away. It's borderline.
35th pitch of the inning. And that misses 3-1. Miley not happy with the home plate umpire. And I can kind of understand why. That looked like the same pitch he made previously. Now at 80 pitches on the night, the 3-1 is high, ball 4. He's walked in his second run of the inning. A bizarre inning, to say the least. Miley hadn't walked the batter in his first 15 2/3 innings, and he walks 4 in the 4th.
Yeah,
that is going to be it.
Yeah, he can't figure it out.
Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made by manager Scott Service, and Miley can only shake his head and curse under his breath.
See if he looks at the umpire. He's looking down. He's not going to say anything. He's looking the other way. I don't know if he's unhappy with himself more so than anything else, but not a good outing for him.
So the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made, and it's Mike Montgomery coming on when we come back. Cleveland leads at 3-0. And with 2 outs in the inning and the bases loaded, the new pitcher is Mike Montgomery, on for the 5th time this year. In 6 innings of work, he's already walked 3.
Mike Napoli drove in the Indians' first run with a 2-out double over the head of Martin. Drives in Lindor. That's the hit that drove in the Indians' 1 run. The other 2 have been walked in this inning by Miley, who we had a look in the dugout. Has to be frustrated with his night because he's a guy that pitches to contact.
Breaking ball low, 1-0. Mike Montgomery was a first-round pick of the Kansas City Royals back in 08. And then he was part of that big trade that the Royals made that really was a trade, I think, that kind of put them over the top. They got Wade Davis and James Shields from the Rays. It cost them a good package of Montgomery, Will Myers, Jake Odorizzi. But wow. In retrospect, that's been a monster trade for the Royals, because James Shields immediately became their ace, kind of helped change their culture. And of course, Wade Davis maybe didn't see it coming at the time, but he's become one of the most dominant relievers in the game.
He is the best reliever in the game right now, or pretty darn close to it. And you know, back then everyone was saying, how can you give up Will Myers in that deal? And would he last 1 year in Tampa before he goes out to San Diego, if not 2?
Yeah.
You know, this was their kid, and that young prospect they thought was a can't miss, and hasn't done a whole lot. And Shields is in San Diego with him now.
That's right. Bases loaded, 2 out, 2-2 pitch. Low, full count. Well, Montgomery's one of those guys. When you think about Nick Hagedorn, big left-hander, power, arm, you think, you know, just if we can get him and get him right, get him to put it all together, you've got something special. 3-2. Runners go, and Napoli bangs it to third. Seager, the throw is on the money, and the inning is over. So the Mariners avoid a colossal inning, but the Indians get a pair of gift runs and lead it 3-0. Baseball is brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. By the Cleveland Clinic. Access anytime, anywhere. And by T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. Top of the 5th inning, and the Indians on top 3-0. Ketel Marte leading it off. Marte walked leading off the 3rd inning. Slaps this one the other way into the seats. 0-2. Back a little bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, Carrasco's had his command issues too. It's so with Miley, it was just that it was so concentrated all in a span of about 5 or 6 hitters. But Carrasco, who's usually spot on with his command, he's had troubles at times.
He's been very good with first pitches, 14-18. Then that 2-seamer's been dancing outside on him to the left-handers. Remember, 7 left-handers in this lineup for Seattle tonight. I don't know if that made him change his game plan at all.
Now, he walked 2 in the 3rd inning, but he worked around it and got out of it. Swung out and missed. Marte goes down hacking. 4th strikeout of the night for Carlos Carrasco. Let's get on to Andre. Andre, you got anything more on Carrasco tonight?
Well, you know, when talking to Mickey Callaway before the game, he talked a little bit about Kluber as well as Salazar and Carrasco, saying with maturity comes a different way of pitching and understanding who you are and what you are. Tonight we've seen a ton of 2-seamers from Carrasco, and you know, Mickey said, he goes, look, he goes, now that he's had some, you know, he feels good about himself. He goes, sometimes he'll go to his off-speed pitches when other things aren't clicking for him, and I think that's what we're seeing tonight. The fastball doesn't feel good, go to the off-speed stuff.
Yeah, but it's a 2-seamer, Andre. I don't really consider an off-speed. You know, that's like a 2-seam, a sinking fastball where you're looking for a ground ball. But you know, with his slider, he may not throw it as much to the left-handers as he does the righties.
Right, and I think
curveball.
Well, the curveball. I was going to say the curveball is a pitch that he's gone to a lot. To the change, and you know, and what Mickey was saying is, you know, 2 years ago, he goes, if he was in trouble, he was just going to try to throw it harder.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now it's kind of like, let's find a feel for something, and it seems like that's what he's doing tonight.
Well, hey, Andre, we just saw a great example of what Mickey was talking about with Wade Miley. And, you know, I mentioned it to Rick at the time. You wonder sometimes, even at the professional level, the best of what they do, when a guy starts to lose his command, as Miley did in that inning, does it become mental more than it is physical? And it certainly looked like maybe that was the case for Miley.
So this game is all mental. You can lose it, and you know, you can lose your arm slot. You can lose it in one pitch sometimes. And a lot of times, as I think what we're talking about, young pitchers, young hitters, you know, they need coaches to pick up on something where your veterans, they know what they have to do to straighten themselves back out and reel it in a little bit quicker than young pitchers do, per se, or, you know, a young hitter. You've got to be able to make your own adjustments on the fly from at-bat to at-bat, and when you're out there on the mound, from at-bat to at-bat.
You say it's all mental.
I do.
Yogi Berra said baseball is 90% mental, the other half is physical.
And that's why Yogi's a Hall of Famer, and I'm not.
You blew right by it. You didn't even catch it.
I did.
It went right by your head.
I knew it.
Like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right by you.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Here's the 1-2. Smash towards the hole. Backhanded by Lindor. Off balance throw on the money. He got him. Spectacular play by Francisco Lindor, and a terrific stretch on the other end by Mike Napoli to get him.
Wow, how quickly did he get rid of this ball on the money? He realized he knows who's running. Get it, get rid of it. Boy, all in one motion. A beautiful play by Lindor.
Almost like a point guard making a no-look pass. He got rid of that so quickly. I don't know that he ever saw his target when he let it go.
Well, right on the money.
Seth Smith has singled and walked tonight. Takes down an end ball one. Bit outside. To center field where Davis has it measured and makes the grab. Carrasco cruises through the fifth. Gets a little help from Lindor at short.
Well, you can watch the game from the corner in the right field bleachers or the new drink rails out in left field with the district ticket presented by Sports Time Ohio. District tickets only $13. That includes your first drink. Available online now at Indians.com. That little fireplace looked nice and warm. That's out there in the district, isn't it?
Yeah. Carlos Santana takes first pitch for ball one. Hop to right field. In comes Nelson Cruz, one away. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Mike Napoli with an RBI double with 2 outs in the third inning. Plated Francisco Lindor with the game's first run. Then the Indians loaded the bases thanks to a couple of walks, and then 2 more walks drove in 2 more runs. It was a 4-walk fourth for Wade Miley that eventually knocked him out of the game. And the Indians lead it 3-0 as Yan Gomes fouls one off. It's one of those weird games in that you look at the opportunities the Indians have had, and this could very easily be 6, 7, 8-0 right now.
Yeah.
But the double play balls enabled Miley to get out of some tough spots early. And then, boy, a really bizarre inning in the fourth with all the walks. But lost in that was the Jason Kipnis at bat, where he might have walked in another run there, but looked like a bad call and a check swing that resulted in a strikeout. And Montgomery able to get out of the inning with only the 2 runs scoring. Gomes bouncer toward third. Seager cuts it off. 1 away. Beg your pardon, 2 down.
The hitter for the Tribe, the left fielder, Marlon Bird.
Marlon Bird is 2 for 2 tonight. He has singled twice and scored a run. Bird, kind of like Uribe, is starting to heat up offensively. Fouled right back. In his last 3 games now, Marlon Bird has 6 hits. And Uribe has 5 hits in his last 10 at bats, so the 2 veterans at the bottom of the lineup provide a little punch. Fouled back.
Well, Montgomery throwing a little bit harder than Wade Miley did. He seems like he's getting in on a few of these hitters so far. His fastball clocked at about 95.
Got him with a good breaking ball. Indians go 1-2-3. We head to the 6th. It's Cleveland 3 and Seattle nothing. Cabrera and the Tigers take on division rival and reigning World Series champion Kansas City Thursday at 6:30 in a game you can only see on FS1 or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Robinson Cano will lead off here in the 6th inning for Seattle. He's 0 for 1, walked in the first, reached on the fielder's choice in the 3rd. And Carlos Carrasco's pitch is low, ball 1. Smashed. Oh, what a diving stop by Napoli. The flip to first, and he got him.
Beautiful play right there, boy. You take extra base hit away from Cano to lead off the inning. Well done by Mike Napoli. Carrasco over there in plenty of time. Well, he's done a beautiful job playing first so far for the Indians, right over the base, and he gets there. He was in foul territory catching that ball, and a nice flip. Well done. Gets that little crouch and comes up and gets a great jump on the ball. That's a big play.
Yeah, he's done a really good job, and all of a sudden here comes Terry Francona. Is this for Carrasco? Must be.
What, his ankle over there?
I don't know.
He got there in plenty of time. I didn't see anything. Maybe they did. Obviously they did. They see things in that dugout that we have no clue.
Carlos assuring them that he's fine. You know, a lot of times it might be the manager, a coach, but you know, these guys that are on these training staffs now, James Quinlan and all these guys in Major League Baseball, I think they've got to be eagle-eyed when they're watching players, because you know, a trainer told me years ago, professional athletes are the very best in the world at masking maybe an injury or something that's painful to them,
right,
to the point where the average person wouldn't know it, but to the trained eye they can tell just the slightest little change in their gait would tip them off that, uh-oh, we better go check him out.
Well, I didn't see anything because Carrasco got to first base early, but then again, I wasn't watching.
Well, Nelson Cruz has had a tough go against Carrasco. He's 0 for 2, has struck out both times.
Yeah, this is the time now with nobody on that you want to show him a couple of pitches on the inside part of the plate, because he's been able to get him away with sliders, you know, where he can't really hurt you. Nice. He went right back inside and jammed him. Well done.
Lindor unloads in a hurry to get him 2 away.
You know, and what happens, it'll open it up for the next time up if there's somebody on and if he faces it. But look, he tied him up. Yeah. He's been going away, so he keeps him honest on the inside when he can't really do a whole lot of damage to him because nobody's on, and jams him. And, you know, so the next time he'll be conscious of that pitch that he gets him out with right there.
Indians go with a shift to the right side of the infield. 3 go to the right with Kipnis in the outfield grass. Kyle Seager, of course, lined a single to left field his last time up. In fact, what he did was he had a line drive that was just inches beyond the reach of Juan Uribe at third base. So with that in mind, Uribe looks like he's backed up a couple of steps from where he might have been positioned earlier. Seager turns on it, though. That is hit a ton. Deep to right. Cowgill's going to watch this one leave the yard.
He continues to hit well in this ballpark.
Mariners get on the board on Kyle Seager's second home run of the year. And it's a 3-1 ball game on the 2-out solo blast by Seager.
Off speed pitch.
Changeup.
Yeah, it looked like it was a changeup on the middle third of the plate coming inside, and boy, he hit it a ton. High and deep. Gets Seattle on the board with one swing of the bat. So how big was that play leading off the inning now?
Yes, sir.
4th home run given up by Carrasco.
Adam Lynn 0 for 2 on the night. Two balls and a strike. Milwaukee stopped Minnesota's 4-game win streak earlier today, 6-5. Twins are the first team in baseball to get to 10 losses. Down low, and it's 3-1. Zach McAllister getting loose.
Yes, he did.
Went too far in a full count.
Well, he wants to hit right here. He was going to cheat, so see if he can get something to pull, but got a little too aggressive and gets upset with himself, but he still has one more.
And the payoff pitch is down the line, but slicing out of play.
You know, Lind is a guy, remember when Toronto, when he first came up, he had pretty good pop the other way and wouldn't be afraid to hit it that way.
Well, the Indians seem to get the New York Mets home run machine going. They hit 2 more home runs already tonight.
Did they really?
Conforto and Cespedes. They lead the Phillies 5-0 in the
4 yesterday in the game in Philadelphia after they left here. So what's that, 7 and 11? That's 13 homers in the last 4 games.
Marlon Byrd gets back in plenty of time, signals for the fair catch, and makes the grab to end the inning. But Kyle Seager with a solo smash gets Seattle on the board. It's 3-1 Cleveland, middle of the 6th.
Well, 2016 season tickets still available and include 8 different plans. When you buy a prorated 20-game plan, you get up to 12 games for free. Visit Indians.com season tickets for more details.
Juan Uribe will lead off the home half of the 6th for the Indians. He singled in the 2nd, walked and scored in the 4th. He goes the other way, but that's foul.
There he is.
Down and in, catches the corner. Could be wrong as Uribe grounds out, but it almost looked like he was trying to get out of the way and swung at that pitch at the same time. Maybe my eyes deceived me, but that ball was kind of down and in. Ends up being the first out of the inning.
Well, let's see.
Looked odd.
Yeah, his back foot came out of his toe hold, I think. Well, he's never met a pitch he doesn't like to swing at. I'm trying to think now. He set it down, and that maybe that back foot just slipped out of his toe hold.
Cowgill down the right field line. That's going to find the seats. Or it was a back foot slider, and he wasn't going to let it hit that back foot. I'm going to get it before it hits that back foot.
He sure did.
Cowgill walked to load the bases in the 4th inning, and then the Indians would turn that into 2 runs on 2 bases loaded walks. Smashed up the gut, though. Right there is Cano. Low throw and a nice backhanded pick by Lynn. 2 down.
For the Indians, stepping to the plate, number 20, Rajay Davis.
See Lynn say something to him. I saw where Cano looked over to him and started smiling. He threw him a sinker. He said normally he throws it, he makes that nonchalant throw underhanded, but he gets something on it. That time he didn't have anything on it, and Lynn had to help him out.
Down and in. Davis taking for ball 1. That foul. Bang to third. Seager in on the cut of the grass. Throws him out. And the Indians go 1, 2, 3. And all of a sudden Mike Montgomery has set down 7 in a row. By the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio. And by Ford, built Ford tough. 3-1, the Indians lead it as we roll on to the 7th inning. Carlos Carrasco will be facing the bottom third of the order with Zach McAllister warming in the bullpen behind him. Chris Iannetta goes after the first pitch and bangs it foul. See how long the leash is for Carrasco working with a 2-run cushion.
Well, they'll give him a chance to get out of this inning as long as that pitch count doesn't get too crazy. Nice little slider. He's down to the bottom part of the lineup, 7, 8, 9.
2 quick strikes on Iannetta. Both times tonight, Iannetta has flied out to left field. And that slider got a piece of Gomes as it went back to the screen. high fastball to see if he'd go chase after it. He would not. Or just to change the eye level and maybe set up.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Change the eye level. Go with that slider down and away. See what he follows up with. On the slider.
Yeah.
Well, that could also be a sign that you're getting tired when you throw that slider and you hang it like that. Didn't feel too good. Wants a new baseball.
A 1-ball, 2-strike count on Chris Iannetta, the Seattle catcher. Swung out and missed. There was a tight slider.
He located that one. That's where he wanted it.
Strikeout number 5.
Well, Carlos Carrasco keeps that string going. 5 strikeouts now for the 21st straight time. And Carlos today going with that 2-seamer early. But then that slider has been coming into play. He's thrown some change-ups. He's worked well. There's a good breaking ball. Gets a fastball away. Martin didn't like it. Tied up Marte.
Leonys Martin takes a strike.
For Carrasco, 9-0-2, 1-2 counts today. Seattle has 1 hit when they get to 2 strikes in that situation. So you can see how tough he is when he gets ahead of a hitter. Wipe out stuff, put away pitches.
Yanked down the line. That is a fair ball into the corner. And Martin on his way to second base will pull in with a 1-out double.
4th hit, 2nd extra base hit for Seattle. He 2-seamer down into the corner. And I think Terry has seen enough as this ball rattles off the wall in right field. He goes cruising into second base. So Carrasco going his 6 1/3 tonight.
It's only the 4th hit the right-hander has allowed tonight, but that is going to do it as Carrasco exits with a 3-1 lead, and Zach McAllister will be coming on when we come back. Now Carlos Carrasco kept his streak intact, getting his 5th strikeout here in the 7th inning. 21 straight games, he's had at least 5. How about Clayton Kershaw's streak?
Oh, in the world of his own. 59 consecutive. That's crazy. Normal people are down there right around 20.
The normal people. He's in the special class.
Yes, he is.
Zach McAllister on for the 5th time this year. He's got Ketel Marte, the number 9 hitter, and then Nori Aoki, the leadoff man, after him. First ball swinging. Marte pops it up on the infield. 2 down.
Love that. Love that.
You know, I mentioned that was only the 4th hit of the night for Seattle, the double by Martin. They didn't have much going against Carrasco. He did have a couple of walks that gave the appearance that they might have a chance to get something done offensively early on, but they were 0 for 8 with a runner on base and 0 for 4 when they had anybody in scoring position against Carrasco.
Yeah, Carlos left some pitches up in this inning. I think he tired a little bit.
Nori Aoki is 0 for 3. We're in the 7th with the Indians leading it 3-1. And Aoki not happy with the call, down in the strike zone. It evens it up.
That comes right there with a good heater. Right there at the knees. I think the series before this, we saw there were a lot of low pitches that in that same spot that were not called strikes.
Runner goes, and it'll be a steal for Martin, but with 2 outs and 2 strikes on the batter. Yan Gomes hardly really.
Well, the middle infielders
weren't
weren't keeping him close. They're worried about the hitter right now.
And the 1-2. Foul right back. A bit low. 2-2. The Mariners had their 3-game win streak snapped Sunday in New York by the Yankees. Tanaka outdueling Iwakuma in that game.
The Mariners staff, though, did a wonderful job against the Yankees with runners in scoring position in that series.
It's going to be foul. King Felix and Nathan Carnes were the winning pitchers in the first 2 games of that series. The Indians will see Carnes in the series finale. Taijuan Walker will go tomorrow for Seattle. McAllister's 2-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out with a high heater, and that will end the inning. No runs, a hit, and a man left. Stretch time in Cleveland with the Indians on top 3-1. 3-1, the Indians lead it as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Jason Kipnis has certainly seen his share of left-handers so far this year. With more on that, here's Andre.
You know, Matt, 7 of the first 11 starters that the Indians have seen have been left-handed, and Jason Kipnis hasn't skipped a start. And he told me last year he would get upset a little bit when he'd see all these lefties. He goes, but this year he came in with a game plan. He's trying to see the ball longer, keep that shoulder tucked, and he's actually kind of shortened his stride. He says all those things have helped him have some success early on. He told me not to bring it up during the game because he wanted to at least get one hit before I said something.
Well, he got that hit the first time up.
So we're good.
And, you know, the other thing, too, Andre, is that I think because lefties primarily get lefties out, the overall assumption is that right-handers own lefties.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case. And while the Indians have more of a predominant right-handed hitting lineup now, it hasn't exactly equaled a lot of early season success.
No, well, Mike Napoli told me, he goes, I like the ball coming into me. Marlon Byrd says, I like the ball coming and going away from me. So for every hitter, it's different. You know, even Kip said, he goes, the way they play me defensively now, he goes, it really doesn't matter if it's a lefty or righty. He goes, I hit the ball the same no matter what.
You know, but the thing of it is, when you're going to face lefties, it's nice if you face a lot of them in a row so he can get a feel for it, so he won't forget it. He'll know what he has to do to lock in now. So it's not a bad thing, and that was a good at-bat for him right there. Line out to the shortstop, but he hit it well.
Well, the funny thing about baseball, as you guys both know, 2 of his outs tonight have been stroked right up the middle. His hit was an infield hit. That just tells you how the game goes.
Well, that's exactly.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that, as we talked about it, for whatever reason, and it's just scheduling more than anything, come in bunches. A lot of lefty starters here early in the season.
Yeah, we're going to hit a stretch now where we won't see some for a while.
What was it, a year ago we went to Chicago and saw all lefties in a 4-game series?
We usually do against the White Sox. That's all they have. They only have the one right-hander, and that's Matt Latos this year. They didn't have him last year.
Lindor's had a good night, a single, a double, a walk, a ribby, and a run scored. Off the glove, I think Montgomery got a piece of it. In any event, it'll be an infield hit for Lindor.
He's been on every single time tonight. He's 3 for 3, and he walked once.
Well, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Lindor's had a hand on both sides of the ball tonight. Watch this play with the shift on. Diving stop, throws out Adam Lynn. And a double down the right field line. I love this defensive play, though, right here.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Got rid of it in a hurry. Going down the line, and he's had a very good night.
Mike Napoli doubled in the first run of the game with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Napoli with 7 RBIs now on the year. The Indians have, I'm just going to say they've been aggressive. It's not like they've been running with reckless abandon, but they have done a nice job in terms of base stealing so far this year. Only 1 time have they been caught. And if I remember right, that was Rajay Davis when he stole 3rd base, and it looked like he was safe.
Should have appealed it. Yeah. Well, you know, he has 5 of the stolen base. They had 5 in 1 game in Tampa, and you ran against a guy who, to this point, I think, who's our buddy, the catcher there for Tampa?
Oh, Hank Conger, yeah.
Hank Conger, who's, I think, 44 consecutive. They haven't, you know, they've taken advantage of the guy that was out there. But you know what? That's what you have to do. You pick and choose your times. You don't want to make outs on the bases if you're going to steal bases. They've stolen 10.
Which is why I said they haven't run wild, because nobody can do that anymore.
No.
You can't just turn them loose.
No, you can't. You can't. You pick and choose your times, and you almost, in games when you can be aggressive, that's when you're going to go and try and steal them. To me, just if you can get one when the game's on the line, that's when you need them.
Upstairs.
I hate to play station-to-station baseball. You want to be aggressive. See, this is a team you have to steal more bases because we don't hit and run. We're not a hit-and-run team. We got too many guys that swing through baseballs. They don't put it in play or hit it on the ground. So you're going to have to steal bases if you want to be aggressive. There's a couple guys you can put the hit and run on with.
almost think too, even though Napoli's a guy, if you just go and look at the stats, you say, oh, he strikes out too many times. But I think situationally, he's a guy that can put the ball in play and hit the ball the other way. We've seen him do it. I think in the situation, if it calls for it, I think he could execute it.
What, the hit and run?
Yeah.
He swings through. It'd be tough. I wouldn't do it with a right-handed pitcher. No, I wouldn't. Against a left-hander, it'd be different, but you're not going to take the bat out of his hand against that guy because he can hit for average. And he's the number 4 hole, so you're never going to hit and run.
Yeah, you want him to.
You're 4 or 5. You want him to drive him home.
You want him to hit him over the fence so they don't have to run.
You usually look at the bottom part of your lineup, or 1 or 2 that can. If you don't want to give up and out and you don't want to bunt, who can put the ball in play and hit and run? Those are the guys you want. Your RBI guys, you're never going to put it on with them. There's a guy I can't wait to get back in this lineup. It'll lengthen it out. See, he takes a lot of good swings, and I mean healthy cuts it. He fouls a lot off. I mean, you get the high heater, and you can see it. He takes really good cuts, and a lot of times just fouls them straight back, and you're saying, boy, he just missed that. But it's been early part of the year. You get it down into his zone, he can hit it a long way. He likes that ball down and a little bit out over the plate.
Well, we have seen him really sting the ball a number of times with the 2 homers, the 3 doubles. I mean, he's the one guy we have seen hit a ball with that backspin and hit it over center fielders' heads. That's not easy to do in today's game. Most center fielders play deep, and it's just hard to hit it over those guys' heads. But we've seen him do it. He takes ball 4 here, and the Indians have 2 on with 1 out for Carlos Santana.
Yeah, his first, Montgomery's first walk. He's done a nice job for the Mariners coming out of the bullpen. He came in back in the 4th inning, got the last out, and then he retired 8 in a row before the Lindor single.
Tony Zick looks like he's ready, and Scott Service is going to go get him.
I don't blame him. He's done his job coming out of that bullpen, that's for sure. Done a good job to hold it where it's at.
So the Indians trying to add to a 3-1 lead here in the 7th. And it looks like first-year manager Scott Service will make the call. He has indeed. So Montgomery is out. Tony Zick is coming on when we come back. If you can't watch the games on TV, you can stream them now live on your mobile device. So with that fancy new phone you got, you can stream them right on that phone. All you have to do is go to the App Store, Arch. You know what that is?
Yes, sir.
Right down the street, around the corner from the grocery store. Unload the free Fox Sports app. Go. Log in. Stream the Indians wherever you go. That's it.
I'm going to go to that store tomorrow.
is number 55, Tony Zick.
Well, the new pitcher for Seattle is right-hander Tony Zick. And he comes into a tough spot with 2 on. There is 1 out. And he'll be facing Carlos Santana. And Santana will turn around and bat from the left side.
I like in their notes for Tony Zick. He is the last player in the baseball encyclopedia with the ZY.
It's a great
CH.
It's a great story. You know, there have been more than 18,000 guys that play Major League Baseball.
Right.
And Dutch Zwilling held that distinction
for how long?
Since 1910.
Really? Until this guy came up?
Think about
wow.
that. I mean,
over 100 years.
Not that Dutch Zwilling ever sat around and said, you know, I'm last in the baseball encyclopedia.
Well, yes, he did. He went online and he put it online.
How about that? He broke in with the White Sox in 1910 and held that distinction until Tony Zick, Z-Y-C-H, broke in last year. Zick, who was born in Illinois, came to the Mariners in a trade with the Chicago Cubs for cash considerations at the start of last year. Santana with a pop to left center. And almost a collision. The center fielder Martin makes the catch, and the throw to third not in time as both Lindor and Napoli tagged and moved into scoring position.
Good job by both runners moving up, and you know what, center fielder's in charge out there.
And I don't know what happened to Aoki, but if he just rolled his ankle or if it happened when he was trying to get out of the way.
He stepped on his foot.
Oh,
he stepped on his toe.
Spiked
that happened to me one time. He stepped on your toe with that cleat and it broke a toe. Watch, just barely comes over there. You've got to get out of the way. You've got to listen for that center fielder to make the phone call or the call for it, and when he does, you back off. That hurt. Cold night. That cleat comes down on one of your toes.
Did you ever forgive Robin Yount for that?
Yeah.
Eventually.
I mean, I was playing center field, but he had just moved to playing left field in that story, where I called for it, but he did the same thing, not knowing, being an outfielder, stepped right on my toe and broke my toe. Of course I did. How can't you? I would have been released if I didn't like it.
Now, when did he end up moving back to the infield?
He didn't. He moved to center field.
So, okay.
He moved to center field because once he started playing left field, and eventually you knew they were going to move him to center because he was a shortstop and he still had the speed and he could go get it. He turned into a very good center fielder.
So he never went back to playing shortstop.
No, never went back.
That was it.
That's right.
How long was it before you moved from shortstop to the outfield?
About 3 weeks in the minor leagues.
Holmes fouling it off.
But that's common. A lot of guys, when
sure,
they draft you, they know you can run, and you may not play the infield, or they're going to put you in the outfield or try you out there with your speed.
I would have to say that unless you get drafted as a first baseman, most guys probably don't play the position they were played in high school. Nice play there by Marte. Indians strand a couple. Will go to the 8th. It remains 3-1 Cleveland. reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. How close are we?
22nd.
So that's 2 days.
Yeah,
2-3 days.
Day after tomorrow will be totally full.
Looks pretty full to me. Big old piece of cheese tonight. Brian Shaw will come on for the Indians here in the 8th inning, trying to protect a 3-1 lead. It's been a work in progress for Shaw to this point, trying to get on track.
Yeah, rough outing against the Mets. In his last outing, that cutter wasn't cut, and he left some pitches middle of the plate, and they knocked him out of the ballpark. So he's going to come back and try and get back into a groove. 2-run lead here by the for the Indians.
Seth Smith, Robinson Cano, and Nelson Cruz
going right through the heart of it.
So he's got the big boys to deal with. Pitch down and in, ball 1. You know, Rick, I was just thinking, you mentioned here's the meat of the lineup in the 8th inning. And in this day and age of analytics, how long will it be before a manager like a Joe Madden decides to say, you know what, I'm going to use my closer in the 8th inning tonight because the best hitters in their lineup are going to be coming up here.
Yeah.
Francisco Lindor drops to a knee, fields it cleanly, and throws out Smith, 1 away.
You never know. You know. All right, here's my save right now. So you use your closer? Well, I don't know. It's
until it backfires, and then you can't. You know what I mean?
You know, last year I saw where Madden was hitting his pitcher 8th and hitting Addison Russell 9th. Well, he switched. I don't know if it's because of the pitchers or what. And Russell was a rookie, but last night Russell was hitting 8th and the pitcher was hitting 9th. Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me to see it. Let me put it that way. But the last 3 outs are usually the toughest to get in any ball game, so that's a big deal.
That's where the analytics part of baseball.
Doesn't matter who you're facing. It's those 3 outs.
It's not that the analytics don't tell you a story, but they don't tell you the whole story, and that is that 9th inning, the pressure, the crucible that guy has to live in. Numbers can't quantify what that guy has to deal with.
I mean, it's that guy that you know, that has that attitude. He's fearless. And you know what happens after he gives up a save? Does he come back and settle in and get right back into it? Because closers, you know, if they blow 3 or 4 a year, that's outstanding because they're going to get 35 to 40 saves, the good ones. Give me 90% coming out of the bullpen and saving ball games, and I'll take it every year.
Cano almost chased after it, but held up. And it's 2-2. The 2-2 is up and away in a full count. That's hammered into the corner in left field. Bird will dig it out, but Cano cruises into second base with a 1-out double. Boy, that's just kind of vintage Robinson Cano, the way he just rocks back and threw a pitch, keeps his hands back. And
he knows he's going to get a strike in this situation because you don't want to walk because the tying run is on deck, so he's going to force him to hit it. But Cano didn't try to pull a ball. He didn't try and do too much. He stayed on it nicely and just drove it the other way. So Cano gets a double. That is only his second double this year, but that brings the tying run to the plate.
And that tying run is Nelson Cruz, who is 0 for 3 tonight. First base is open, but you got the left-handed slugger Kyle Seager on deck.
Carrasco worked him over pretty good. In his first 2 at-bats, he saw a steady dose of sliders away, and he was able to get him. And then the last time out, he jammed him. Well, with nobody on base. There's the slider the first time. Got him with another slider, expanded the zone. Now with nobody on, he goes inside and ties him up. Did a beautiful job tonight on him.
And you see Cruz trying to take a page from Cano's book and stay back and drill it the other way, fouling it off.
That's the thing about this guy. You can make him look bad a couple of times, boy, but if you make one mistake, he can come back and haunt you. One swing of the bat.
I think that ball hit the Adam Lamb in the dugout. They were scattering down there in the dugout on that foul ball by Cruz. 2 quick strikes. And he waits back again, lifts it to right field. On the run is Cowgill. Makes the catch in foul ground for the out. Tagging and going to third is Cano. Well, the umpire, John Tumpane, he signaled fair on the catch by Cowgill. I thought he was in foul territory. I tell you, a heck of a play by Cowgill to stay with it concentration-wise. It'll run a long way, and you run out of turf in a hurry down there.
Yeah, fair ball.
Yeah, it was
just fair ball, no question. Inside the line. So now one big out to get with this guy.
Kyle Seager with Adam Lynn behind him, both left-handed batters.
He's the one that got him on the board here back in the sixth inning. 2-out solo home run.
Seager's second home run of the year.
The changeup by Carrasco that he left middle third of the plate coming in. He hit it high and he hit it deep. That's Seattle's only run.
In his 5 years in the big leagues, Seager has increased his home run total every single year. A modest 3 homers in 53 games his first year. Then up to 20, to 22, to 25, to 26.
He has always, as I mentioned, loved hitting against the Indians.
2 years ago, he was an all-star. Won the Gold Glove.
Seager just 2 hits away, or 2 homers away now with that after that home run from the 100 mark in his career.
Shaw trying to get him to chase after it. It's 1-2. Indians lead it 3-1 here in the 8th. And Shaw's 1-2 pitch, swung out and missed. He got him. Brian Shaw with a scoreless 8th inning. And the Indians hold on to a 3-1 lead. Indians trying to add some insurance to a 2-run lead. Bottom third of the order will come up to face Tony Zick. It'll be Marlon Byrd, Juan Uribe, and Colin Cowgill. Byrd looks at a ball that's called a strike, and Iannetta didn't even catch it.
Yeah, he has. I think Bird's having a hard time believing. Look, he didn't catch it, and you called it a strike.
I know. I was like, really?
Tony Zick wants a new baseball. Cody Allen getting ready in the Cleveland pen. Byrd, a swing and a miss, and a count of ball and 2 strikes. Off the end of the bat to right field. Cruz catches it. 1 gone. Let's look back at our keys to the game, brought to you by Mazda. Carrasco against the left-handed power. Other than Kyle Seager, Carlos Carrasco kept them in check. Second time through the order. Boy, they called it.
Yes, indeed.
And the walk, it was just inexplicable the way Miley came apart with the walks tonight.
How about that? He didn't have one for, what was it, 15 and a third innings or something like that, and then all of a sudden, boy, 4 in 1 inning. And he walked in the last 2 runs for the Indians. That's how they have 3 on the board. The only hit they got to drive 1 in was Mike Napoli with a 2 out.
Broken bat, and Cano throws him out 2 away. Just 9,393 here tonight. Hopefully warmer temperatures coming our way tomorrow. Supposed to be a high of 70 degrees. Great to see a few more folks down here at Progressive Field for game 2 of this 3-game series tomorrow night. Taijuan Walker going for the Mariners. And for the Indians, it will be Danny Salazar trying to go to 3-0 on the year. Boy, Salazar's been sensational. He's 2-0 with an 0.79 ERA coming into tomorrow night's game. Again, it's a 6 o'clock first pitch here at Progressive Field. And if he can't make it out, we'll have the action for you right here on Sports Time Ohio. Beginning with Indians Live, Alan Jensen at 5:30. And Thursday, the series wraps up with the old businessman special at noon. Cowgill awaits the 0-1 pitch. And a fastball fouled out of play. Kansas City leads Detroit 5-2. They're in the 5th inning at Kauffman Stadium. Royals trying to stop a 2-game slide. White Sox have a 1-0 lead on the Angels in the 3rd. Chicago's dropped 3 in a row. Slider on the outside corner ends the inning. Tribe goes in order, and we go to the 9th. 3-1 Cleveland.
Field, Indians a leader 3-1 over the Seattle Mariners. Cody Allen coming on to try to close this one out. Al Pulowski, Jensen Lewis. Jensen, Brian Shaw in the 8th inning. Great effort tonight.
I think that's as important as any performance tonight. Obviously the Indians, they got to Wade Miley again early, but Shaw, if this team's going to go anywhere deep into this season and make a run for this title, he's got to be on point. He was tonight.
Join us for Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care, immediately following this one right here live from the corner at Progressive Field. Back upstairs to Matt and Rick. Fellas.
Jensen, the life of a late inning reliever. You're only as good as your last out. I mean, Brian Shaw was great tonight, and everybody should applaud that. But you have a bad outing, and everybody wants to throw you overboard immediately.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the way it goes. I mean, you have to bounce back, and they have short memories when you come out of there. They have to. Now it's up to Cody Allen.
I think it's also important, Rick, and if you pitched out of the bullpen, you'd probably be able to expand upon this more. But knowing your manager believes in you has got to be huge for a guy like Brian Shaw. Because if you have a couple of bad outings and all of a sudden they don't go to you, then your confidence really could go in a hurry.
Yeah, but if they don't, then there's something wrong. But they're a tight-knit group. Always the bullpen stick together like the starters stick together. And yeah, you hang in there, man. It's a long year. You're going to give up. You're going to have bad outings. You can't be perfect in this game.
Rajay Davis is now in left field. That's not Tyler Naquin. Rajay's in left, and Naquin is now in center field. And a fastball paints the outside corner, 93 miles an hour. Fastball hammered to left field. Davis won't get it. He'll play it off the wall, and he falls down before he can grab it. Really no harm done. You're pretty much thinking that's going to be a double anyway for Lynn. And he leads off the 9th with a ringing double the other way.
Yeah, look at that. Left-handers normally cannot get on top of that pitch. Boy, he certainly did, and drives it the other way. Wow, that's a big hit that gets them the tying run coming to the plate, so they get their leadoff man aboard.
Seattle has not had more than one hit in any inning tonight. That's their 6th in the ballgame.
And that was an 0-2 pitch.
Wow, what a block by Gomes. That curveball bounced well in front of the plate.
Spikes that curve out in front of the plate. Gomes does a nice job to just keep it out in front of him.
And he misses upstairs 2-0. The 2-0. Clobber, deep center. Naquin a long run back, and he makes the catch on the warning track. Tagging and going to third is Adam Lynn. And that is the first out of the inning.
Well, I'll tell you, Iannetta had a nice 2-0 pitch to hit. He hit it hard, but he used the big part of the field. So they do get the first out. Lynn goes to third base.
So with one away, Leonis Martin will be the batter. He's 1 out of 3 on the night. He doubled into the right field corner his last time up. And a fastball fouled right back. breaking ball, and Martin, all he could do was hit the top part of the ball and beat it right into the ground.
I think that's why Martin wanted to get after his first fastball. Much easier to handle, and then Cody comes back with a good hook. It was done. Got the umpire in the leg. So now ahead in the count 0-2. That's the pitch that Lind hit. 0-2, a high fastball.
Another breaking ball. Bounce to second. Kipnis will throw him out, 2 away. Lind scores on the play, and it's a 1-run game now at 3-2. And former Indian Franklin Gutierrez will be called on to pinch hit with 2 out in the 9th inning. Good to see him back on the field. He's battled a number of health ailments the last couple of years.
Yes, he certainly has. He battled back, and he's surprising. He still has good power. He was known as his defensive skills when he was here with the Indians, and then offensively he sort of blossomed, and then some weird things happened to him physically.
Foul right back. And a count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking ball over the outside corner.
I don't think you could place it any better than that pitch there. Down and away. Watch, at the knees, off the plate, really. Just a perfect pitch. Certainly not one you can hit as a right-hander, I wouldn't think.
The 1-2. Swung out and missed. He got him with a breaking ball. Cody Allen strikes him out with a curve, preserving a 1-run Indians victory. 3-2 the final tonight, as the Indians nudge over the 500 mark again as they go to 6-5 on the year. Seattle slumps to 5-8. Carlos Carrasco is the winning pitcher. He is now 2-0, and Cody Allen has his 4th save of the year. The losing pitcher is Wade Miley, who falls to 0-2 for Seattle. It's a weird game tonight, but the Indians found a way to win it. That's about all you can say.
Well, yeah, it was a good way to win it. They out-hit them. They had opportunities. They certainly could have had a half a dozen, if not more, runs on the board. But the funny thing, they only got 1 hit to drive in runs. A couple other walks drove them in, and the pitching held them down. Carrasco very good, bullpen very good. Here you go. You get the win. So they finally win a game, the first game of a series here.
Sometimes you got to find a way to win.
Doesn't matter. Just win the games. I don't care how you do it. Really, just win them.
The W goes to the Tribe as they take the series opener by a final score of 3-2. We'll have some final thoughts right after this.